This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, Bruchim Haba, and welcome everyone. We continue in the Orchos Chaim of the Rosh. We're up to number 98. Al tishabach isha b'yafya. Do not praise a woman by her beauty. Uvetuv ma'aseh yashuha hashayimim. And in her good deeds, the listeners shall praise her. Let's bear in mind that number 98 comes in the aftermath of 97, of course. Not to be miyached with any woman except for one's wife, mother, or daughter, even with two women. And now the Rosh is saying, do not praise a woman in her beauty, but rather in her good actions, the listener shall praise her. Now what does this imply? According to our text, the implication is that the hakpada here, that what we are concerned with is not to praise a woman according to her beauty, but to praise her according to her good actions, to praise her kindness or her good character. That's a good thing to do. That's a proper thing to do. But that's somewhat questionable. Is that what the Rosh is saying? Don't praise a woman by her beauty, but you should go around praising women by their good actions? This is not modest. So one might say, okay, but what if you want to praise a woman of Chazal, of Tanakh, of Nevi'im, and Ksuvim, of times of Chazal? Maybe what the Rosh is saying, don't praise a woman according to her beauty, but praise her good qualities. But the Alter of Kelm feels, well, it seems like the Rosh is saying even today, even nowadays, one should praise a woman by her good deeds. So the text of the Alter of Kelm is, do not praise a woman by her beauty or by her good deeds, lest the listener praise her. And the Tosfos Yom Tov in his translation, his Yiddish translation of Orchos Chaim the Rosh also says, don't praise a woman by her beauty or her good deeds, because that will cause the listener to praise her. But the question is, what are we worried about? Are we worried that somebody might be drawn after the woman because of this praise? So then what does it have to do with the listener? Then the person themselves are in danger. It's irrespective of what the listener, what about the person themselves? So the commentary Orach Yesharim brings it from Rabbi Lapian that there's a mistake here, there's a textual mistake, and it says, don't praise a woman by her beauty or her good deeds, lest you desire her. Again, that would be understandable, but you would have to change the text. Rabbi Cheskel Sarna says that it's a mistake. Instead of that in her good deeds the listener shall praise her, rather, instead of Ya'ashuha, it should be Ya'arsuha. Don't praise a woman by her beauty, even a single woman, because then somebody might marry her for her beauty, but rather praise her by her good deeds, so that people marry the woman for the right reasons. Rav Goldberg, though, wants to maintain our text, and he reads it as follows: do not praise a woman by her beauty, and if you hear somebody did praise a woman by her beauty, distort the story ever so slightly and repeat it that she was praised by her good deeds. And this is the manner of the Rosh. The Rosh usually begins by telling you the things to stay away from, the traps, the moikshe maves, and then he tells you how to Le'ar ba'or hachayim, to be illuminated in the light of life. Number 99. Al titein tiferes la'atzmecha, do not ascribe grandeur to yourself. V'al tikar gufcha beinecha, your body should not be splendid in your eyes. V'taktin es atzmecha, and make yourself small. So, Rav Goldberg cites the Mishnah in Avos, that we know what is the derech yeshara that a person should choose, anything which is splendorous to its doer and brings splendor from man. Meaning, one's actions should be in a way that they achieve feelings of kavod. In other words, one should accord themselves in a way that the observer can see on the person a approach of an honorable, dignified approach that brings dignity to a person. However, even though the way a person accords themselves should be in a way that people attribute dignity to your behavior, nevertheless, you should not think of yourself as a dignified person. And the Rosh adds, do not make your body precious in your eyes. Meaning, don't think to yourself, oh, I'm good looking and I'm of very excellent appearance. Like we find in the Gemara Nedarim on Daf Testament Beis, there was a Nazir who was coming from the south, and he went to fill up water from the spring, and he saw his shadow, and he was very taken by his good looks, and because of that, the Yetzer Hara took a hold of him. But one should not focus in their own mind on their good looks. And you should make yourself small in your eyes, meaning, in your own eyes, your action should be small. We find that Shmuel said to Shaul, if you're small in your own eyes, Rosh Shiftei Yisrael Ata, which means as follows. Really, in one's own eyes, one should consider themselves small, and one should act with humility. But Shaul, because he was the leader of the Jewish people, he should not have abdicated his authority and his leadership of the Jewish people. And Rabbeinu Yonah writes in the Shari Tshuva, Rav Goldberg quotes in Shar Aleph, Ois Chav Daled, Rabbeinu Yonah says you should know there are many levels of humility. The highest level of humility is that you should consider the service of Hashem so important and so imperative. Never give yourself credit. Never think, oh yeah, I really served Hashem so much. One should always think, Avodas Hashem is so important that I have not fulfilled the obligation and my responsibility in the realm of Avodas Hashem. So when it comes to, one should always make themselves small and do not consider themselves both in appearance and in the service of Hashem. Now, if I could go back and add to number 98, that the Hemshech of 97 to 98, that does seem to indicate an approach most similar to Rabbi Elio Lapian, who learned that not to excessively praise a woman, whether in her physical characteristics or even in her good deeds. Rabbi Elio Lapian says, well, it might draw the person after her. That would be appropriate after number 97, where it's talking about the Yisra of Yichud, not even to be miyached with two women, which they would be of a similar, number 97, 98 accordingly would be of a similar idea, as opposed to, according to Rav Goldberg, where it's a matter of modesty, that if you hear somebody praise a woman by her beauty, you should change the story out of modesty. That would not be necessarily something that's a continuation of 97. Okay, Rabbi said we will, Bez Hashem, tomorrow do number Kuf. Wish everybody a wonderful day. Bracha v'hatzlacha. Thank you everyone for coming. Kol tov. Be well.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.